We got to go to the X15 event in Toronto, Ontario, where it's basically a big event that shows off a whole bunch of new Xbox games that are going to be coming out for Xbox in the future. So to start off, we got to play Cuphead, and guys, this game is looking amazing. It's got this really old school art vibe to it that feels like a 1940s cartoon, but the gameplay is absolutely solid. It feels like something you would have seen from an earlier Mega Man title. It's a little bit difficult, but the developers of the game, who I spoke to at the event, basically told me that they will have options set so that you can change the difficulty. But from what I played, if it was set at difficult, I think that's the way to play the game for the future. We also got to try out Mad Max. Now I'm a big fan of Vigilante 8, Twisted Metal, and a whole bunch of car combat games, and I gotta say that Mad Max feels just as solid as some of the best entries in those series. It's got tight controls, a really big open world, and fantastic graphics. I'm really looking forward to this game, and honestly, I didn't even think I was, but now that I've tried it out, I think this is one to pick up. We got to try out 2 Ubisoft games. One of them was The Division. Now we played a multiplayer segment with a whole bunch of people on the floor, and it played really well. It was a cooperative match that had some AI enemies that we got to fight at the beginning, and then we all merged to the center of this map and fought each other. There's a lot of really cool advanced technology that you could use in the game that kind of set it someplace in the future. So I'm very much looking forward to this when it comes out, because I think it might be a really cool online game to play with others. Then Ubisoft showed us Rainbow Six Siege, and I gotta say, this game rocked. I'm a huge fan of the original Rainbow Six games, and this one felt just as good as the others. It's got this really good team play mechanic going on with some very tight level designs. There's a lot of really cool mechanics at play when it comes to blowing up holes through doors and just getting through to areas that you couldn't get to before. It reminded me a lot of the original Rainbow Six. Although it did feel like it took some inspiration from Counter-Strike, I didn't hate that so much, because I'm a big fan of that game too. They had a whole bunch of sequels set up that you could play, like Halo 5, Forza Motorsport 6, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is more or less a remake and not so much a sequel, and Dark Souls 3 and Just Cause 3. All of these games looked great, and if you're fans of the original series, well, you're gonna love it. And if you're a fan of Gears of War, well, Ultimate Edition is just a way better version of the original games. So look forward to those coming out. I'm a big fan of Deus Ex. The original entry in the franchise is one of my favorite games ever made, and when Deus Ex Human Revolution came out, I was a big fan of that as well. So, while I was at the event, I got to see the sequel to Human Revolution, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and this game looks solid. Better graphics, looks to be better gameplay, and they put a whole bunch of extra elements in it that were not in the original game. Plus, my biggest thing that I wasn't a big fan of the original Human Revolution was the outsourced boss battles that didn't feel like they quite mesh with the rest of the game. The guys at the event confirmed with me that Mankind Divided is going to just be made by one team. They're not outsourcing anything. And they also confirmed that if you wanted, you could go through the entire game without killing a single person. I am super excited to play this game. We also got invited backstage to see some exclusive gameplay from 2 games. We first got to take a look at Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now this game looks amazing. The hair effects on Lara Croft are outstanding, and in some instances, I actually thought it was just an actress playing Lara Croft. The physical hair effects that they used in the previous entry in the game, on the PC version at least, looked great. And on the Xbox One version, they look astonishing. I simply can't wait to play this game because it's got this really big Indiana Jones vibe, and I'm a big fan of that series. So if you're a fan of the last Tomb Raider game, you gotta take a look at this game coming out. The last game I got to take a look at the event was Quantum Break. Now look, I'm a big fan of Max Payne, and I also like Alan Wake quite a bit, but I didn't know what to expect with Quantum Break. Having seen some exclusive gameplay and being shown some really cool scenes from the little television series they're doing, guys, this is one game to look out for. I got to watch some additional gameplay they didn't show off publicly, and I got to see some scenes from the live-action show. There seems to be a lot of chances in the game where you can create branching paths in the story, and you'd think it would just affect the gameplay, but it also affects the live-action TV series. That means they actually created whole episodes of this TV series that will change based off of choices that you make in the game. This looked amazing, and the live-action scenes that they showed off looked like a really high-quality television series that you'd see off Netflix or something. If you like the way that Remedy had made games in the past where they kind of showed off really good elements of story, I think you're going to be super surprised about how cool Quantum Break is going to come out looking. Heck, I'm actually quite certain I'm going to be pre-ordering this game now simply because of the live-action cutscenes alone. Well, that's about all I got to see at the event. Oh, and I got this little tiny Adam Jensen. I never asked for this, but I like it.